All right, guys, it's time for Power Rankings Week 8. We're going to waste no time, jump straight into it. My pick 32 for this week is the Nashville Predators. Absolutely no change there. Although they've had a better week than in previous weeks, they end up. I think they won. They had the big loss against Panthers to start the week, 8-3, but then they backed it up with a 6-3 win against Detroit and a 4-3 win against the Blackhawks, which was really good. But on the back-to-back, losing to the Jets 5-2 today. So good week for them outside of that, massive Panthers loss. But they still pick up 4 points, which is good. But yeah, look, it's not enough to get them off at the bottom, especially how they've played in recent weeks.
Yeah, that's fair enough. My 31, new 31, Vancouver Canucks, for me anyway. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, I was about to say for you, you're a bit late on the uptake.
well, just someone finally got there because that's where they deserve to be this week. Nah, but look, been
hmm
ordinary all season. Start of the week, lose to Calgary, win against Anaheim, and lose against San Jose, and lose against in OT against LA. And yeah, it's just looking ordinary all the time as well. The trade rumor is already around, so we'll have to see what happens. But ultimately, I don't see moving up too much further.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, nah, look, they haven't been great. Uh, yeah, it's been concerning. All right, on to my 30. No change for me. I got the St. Louis Blues.
Yep.
I'm liking the consistency from me. Like no change, no change, no change. I'm like, good. It makes doing the power rankings quite easy when teams just they deserve to be down the bottom and you don't have to move them too far. But yeah, look, they had it again similar to Nashville. They had a better week. Start the week with a 2-3 loss against the Rangers, but close 2-3 overtime loss to the Devils. They were in that game. They played quite well. 4-3 win against the Senators, and then a 1-0 win today against the Mammoths. So, 5 of possible 8 points this week. They were playing better. They were tighter defensively. It's just, again, same with Nashville. Like, they've been so bad this season that I need to see a lot more than 2 wins to be like, yeah, let's go up the rankings. So, yeah, if they keep it up, though, they might be able to get themselves back in the running. But, yeah, they're not a great start.
All right, my 29, Toronto.
We um 27 for me.
Um, yeah, just been in the pits for a while. They get the results in regards to this week. I guess you could say,
hmm
but I just haven't liked the way they've been playing. OT win against
hmm
Columbus because every game goes to OT this season. Not just for Toronto, but for everyone. Lose against Washington, and then on the
Everyone.
then on the back to back, they get a 7-2 win against Pittsburgh, which have looked ordinary at times. So yeah, I'm not convinced with
hmm
them. They still have a lot of gaping holes in regards to their lineup, and that's why they moved down. Just because, obviously, Calgary moving above them for me.
Yeah, look, I don't blame you for yours. I could have moved them down to probably as low as 29 as well. So I just chose to keep them where they were. Um, because I think a team in 29 that I have in 29, um, I need to see more from them to move them up, and it's the Buffalo Sabres.
My 27. I guess I'm just a little higher.
You've moved up on them a little bit. Oh no, you
No,
had them at
moved down,
26
but I'm
last week,
higher
but
on them than you. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, look, look, they had a decent week. I think they went 2-2, um, and they played some tough opponents. They get a 4-1 win against the Carolina Hurricanes, obviously a fantastic win. Lose 4-2 to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Then they get 5-0 by the New Jersey Devils, although they did play well. They didn't play poorly. The 5-0 was probably a flattering scoreline. Allen for the Devils stood on his head, but 5-0 is still not a great look. And then a 3-2 shootout win against Minnesota Wild. So it's a week that you wouldn't be disappointed in if you're the Sabres, but like I said with the Blues and the Preds, they need to be more consistent. They need to put together these wins, go on a win streak. Otherwise, I just don't trust that next week they're not going to go 0-4 or 0-3 and be right back down. So
Yep. Yep.
yeah.
Alrighty, my 28. Calgary Flames.
Ooh, they're my 26.
Yeah, look, they've been slowly creeping up, slowly doing better every week. 5-2 win against Vancouver, which I was like, eh. Then
It's Vancouver.
yeah, I was like, it's Vancouver. And it's a 5-1 loss against Tampa, and then the 5-3 win against Florida was a good win. It's why they
Mhm.
move up mainly for me was that game there.
Yeah.
Because yeah, the Vancouver they only had 21 shots against Vancouver. It was like yeah, so yeah,
Yeah. And you don't blame them for the 5-1 loss against Tampa
yeah.
because
I was like, well, that happened.
Tampa's
I gave him
Tampa's
I
doing
gave him
that to
credit
everyone.
for out shooting him. like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
how it was. Yeah.
exactly, right? Like yeah. All right, so my 28th, a team that just is on a slide. Um the Utah Mammoth, if I can find them in this list. Here we go.
Yeah, my 25. Yep.
25. Yeah, look, I just haven't liked what I've seen from them lately. If I'm being honest, they just haven't looked great. They get a 5-1 win against Vegas, but honestly, I'm not sold that Vegas has it all worked out this
Nah.
season
Yeah.
either. They 3-4 loss against Montreal, even though they heavily outshot them. 3-4 loss against Dallas, and then a 1-0 loss against St. Louis. And I think it was that St. Louis game that really sort of did it for me because the rest of their opponents, Dallas is a good team. Vegas, so-so, and Montreal have been up and down, but yeah, you can't lose. You can't lose to the Blues. Like that's a big
It is
no-no,
on a back to
and like
back, but yes,
it
even
is.
still.
But St. Louis were on a back-to-back.
Mm.
Like you- every team just about was on a back-to-back today. Besides, I think two teams, which was the Oilers and the Kraken, and they played each other. So everyone was playing someone who was on a back-to-back. So there's really no excuse. Um, yeah. But yeah, so for me, I don't know. I need to see something better from them because they are worrying me. They were looking so good at the start of the year, and honestly, it's gone all downhill.
Yeah. Alrighty, my 26, the Edmonton Oilers.
They're my 25.
And yeah, look, they go 500 this week. Did not look great on the one game that was played against Dallas, getting destroyed. I think it
Horrible.
gets over highlighted just because it was the only game that was played that day.
Hmm.
But it is definitely an issue. And then they go on a 4-0 win against Kraken. It won't get highlighted at all because there was like a billion games that happened that day. So they moved down slightly, but just because they have not looked great, even in the wins.
Hmm.
It's yeah, they got big issues. I know there's rumors with Tristan Jari coming in. I don't think goaltending is going to solve your problem.
No.
It has to be forwards and or D moves that's going to fix your problem, or a coach. But
Mhm.
I don't think the coach is going to really fully fix it. But yeah, so I
No.
just think
They need to
they're
fix that
looking around the wrong
defense.
area.
Yeah. Just I think we need to point it out as well. That 8-3 loss, it's not on Skinner. A lot of people are going to blame Skinner because it was 4 goals on 8 shots or whatever it was. But you watch all four of those goals and you tell me which goal he should have saved.
People say
Like,
the
which
third
goal should he have
Nate
saved?
Bastion on a 2-on-1 sniping top corner. Top
Yeah.
corner. Nate
Yeah.
Bastion
Like,
doesn't snipe top corner.
no. But like, even if you say that goal, it's like congratulations, he should have saved one of the goals of four. Like the defense broke down so badly on each one of those goals, and basically Dallas, and it was all game. Once Skinner was out the net, it was the same thing. There was two Dallas players basically on top of the goalie at all times when they were in the zone. It the Edmonton defense, their forwards, they just didn't. They just let him in. They're just like, here, have the spot in front of the goalie and just see you later. Good night. Like, there's nothing. You put Vasilevsky in that net, and those goals are most likely still getting scored. Like, yeah, I don't like Skinner, but none of that was on him. And yeah, I feel sorry for the bloke sometimes, especially with that defense in front because it's horrible.
I
But
think best thing for
moving on.
his career is moving on to another team.
Yeah,
That's the best
yeah,
thing for
I
his
think
career.
yeah, he needs to get out of there and get to another team, because he does show glimpses, although his brain fades are pretty bad. But let's move on to 24. I have the Columbus Blue Jackets.
22. Yep.
Yeah, look, I think I've been saying this all season about them. They're just a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde team. They're up and down, inconsistent. They get some really good wins, and then they have some really bad losses. So they lose 1-5 to the Washington Capitals. They lose 1-2 in overtime to the Toronto Maple Leafs, and 3-2 in overtime to the Pittsburgh Penguins. So they lose all three games, but they come out with 2 points. So yeah, not overly great this week, but they still take two of a 6 points. So the week could have gone horribly wrong, but they still managed to sneak out with 2 points because, as we said earlier, every single game just seems to go to overtime these days. But yeah, at the moment they don't look like a playoff team. They don't look like even a team that's going to be in the hunt, which is quite disappointing because I think we both had some high hopes for this team and thought they could really bring it if they could pull together what they did last year and build off that. But they look far from that team.
Yep. My 24. I have the Chicago Blackhawks.
Ooh, I did drop on them, but I didn't drop as far. 21.
Yeah, it's just a team that's been like slowly sliding every week for me.
Yeah.
No wins this week. They versus Colorado, lose 1-0. OT loss against Minnesota, and then 3-4 loss against Nashville. 2 out of 3 opponents were very hard. You would have liked to see them get the Nashville game at least, but they did take Minnesota to OT. They still look alright. They still look dangerous. It's just probably last over 2 weeks or so. It's just been a little steady slide. So with such a
Mhm.
close season, any slight slide is going to be a big slide.
Yeah, I mean that's also the good thing for some of these lower ranked teams is that the season is so close, as Minnesota have shown. They were almost, bottom three at one stage, and now they're looking like what, top six or something on the standing. So, because it's so tight, it doesn't take much to get up up the standings. But you have 2, 3 bad weeks, and you can find yourself in the bottom 10 of the standings as well, like Chicago's have. So. Yeah, I'm not that disappointed in it. I always thought that they would fall off, and they just are. Like they're a young team; they're going to be inconsistent. So yeah. All right, 23 for me. I've got the New York Rangers.
New York Rangers. I don't even can't even remember where I put them. Give me one moment.
They're, they're
18.
off the chart. They're just like, nah, stuff them. Yeah. So you've moved big on them,
I've
and
done
I
it.
I had I d- I've liked their play. I really have. It's been better. Um, and I did consider going higher on them and harder on them, but just with how they've been and how inconsistent they've been, they've finally won their second home game now. But I just don't trust them enough to go hard. I think if they keep playing the way they have been, they're gonna move up, which is good. But also Tampa game today worried me.
Yeah.
They get a 3-2 win against the Blues. They 4-2 win against Carolina, another good team. 6-2 win against Boston, another good team, and then a 4-1 loss against Tampa today, where they only put up 13 shots. That's what worried me. They also got heavily outshot by the Canes as well. So, like I said, they've looked better. They have, but I'm not going hard on them until they've proven
Nah.
that this is
Look, it's
this
just a
is them.
close season for me, and I'm not hard. Like, there's people in my top 16 that I don't think are that high in regards to it either. So
Yeah,
it's one of those things where it's just such a closer season that you start doing alright. It starts to trend in the right direction.
yeah.
23 for me, San Jose.
They are my 19.
There we go. Um, yeah, I don't even know what to say for these guys. They keep trucking along. Just
Mm-hmm.
beat Boston in regulation, 6-0 by Colorado. They win against Vancouver, and then they lose to Vegas. So all in regulation, which is weird. Um, but
Yeah, I know.
they had some hard
Buck the trend.
opponents, but like their win against Vancouver, I was like, yeah, all right. The loss against Colorado was like kind of a destruction, and I was impressed with the Boston win, but losing to Vegas was where it kind of lost me as well because I don't think Vegas are that strong currently.
No, no, I agree. But I just, yeah, for me, it's a good week for the Sharks. Like I think the Sharks are outperforming what everyone expects. And I think, yeah, like they're still showing that they can compete, and they're going to compete in just about every game, bar the Colorado game. But as we said, Colorado are doing that. Tampa are doing that to basically every team at the moment. So I didn't put too much on that. But all right, my 22, I have the Winnipeg Jets.
Okay, you went one harder.
Any
20.
Jets fans? Any Jets fans have rip me a new one in the comments if you want. But also, I think you guys know it. It just looks horrible at the moment for the Jets. And I don't know if anything's going to change. Like 3-4 loss against Washington Capitals. Yep, it's the Caps, but you only managed to put up 21 shots. That's just not good enough. And it continued to get worse. You lose 5-1 to the Carolina Hurricanes, where you put up 13 shots. And then, you obviously redeem yourself a little bit against Nashville 5-2 today, but and I'm also missing a game. You also lost 3-0 to the Minnesota Wild to start the week, but you redeem yourself with a 5-2 win against Nashville. Again, it's Nashville. It's the worst team in the league. If you didn't win this game, I'd have probably put you down at 30. But it's just looked horrible. Like you just have not looked like the Winnipeg Jets of old. Um, and I just don't know where to start with it. Like it's just you look so good to start the season. Jets looked fantastic. It was great, and now you're just shit in the bed. And I don't know what's changed.
Yeah, they're just not defending well, and I think Hellebuck's out as well. Um,
Hellebuck is out, but like that, Hellebuck doesn't put 10
no, but they
shots.
haven't been playing
Like,
defensively well for a while. That's their problem.
yeah,
Um,
no, I get it, but like putting up 13 shots isn't a defense issue.
I
Like
mean, it could be. It
that's
means you're not
just
getting the puck. But yeah,
true.
it's
True.
on to 21 for me. I have Detroit, the Wings.
Ooh. Oh, that's big.
Get out!
But I don't blame you.
Get out of there!
Yeah, 15 for me,
Wow,
but I
only
don't
negative
blame you
one.
because
All right. Well, I
yeah.
guess I'll let you talk more about this one because so obviously they lose against the Devils start of the week. They kind of outplayed the Devils as most teams have been
Mhm.
recently. 6-3 loss against Nashville. Once again 6-3 loss against Tampa, and then on the back-to-back, obviously Boston losing in shootout. Yeah, 1 out of 8 points. Honestly, should have had the Devils game. Should have a Nashville game. Should honestly probably have the Boston game. Really, only should have really lost the Tampa game. But yeah, they only get 1 out of 7, 1 out of 8, and they just I don't know. I feel like they're on a little slide, just a little slide for me. Like they're
Mm.
4-4-2 in the last 10. They're a negative 12 goal differential. It's been slowly creeping in the wrong direction, and yeah, I think just some other teams are playing a little bit better right now. But I guess
Yeah,
I
look,
can let
I
you justify your -1 to my -8.
justify my negative one. Yeah, look, I just didn't pay any attention to be honest. Nah. Um,
Yes, the Wings.
I
Who watched the Wings?
I don't. Yeah, no, I don't hate this team. I like their play. I actually rate Detroit quite highly. I think they're a good team that just needs to learn how to control their slides and learn how to get more points when they're on slides. So the 1 out of the 8 this week is disappointing, but I still think they played well. Um, for most of it. I don't know. I still think that they're stronger than some of these other teams I've got below them. Um, I just think they're on a little bit of a a disappointing slide at the moment. I do expect them to bounce back though, because I think this is the year of the Red Wings. I think they're gonna make the playoffs finally.
All right.
All right, 20 for me. The Florida Panthers.
17.
Yeah, look, some people might think it's a bit low for the Panthers considering, but they're just they're just a very mid team at the moment. But they should be a mid team at the moment because they're injury plagued. We say it every week, but you know, 8-3 win against Nashville, but it's Nashville. I'm not putting much on that. They lose 2-4 against Philadelphia, 3-5 against the Flames. You know, they beat the Preds like they should. They lose to Philly, who's a good team, so you don't make much there. But the Flames, they should be beating. So that for me, they move up one, but it's pretty much because the Jets and the Blackhawks. Realistically, if it wasn't for those two, they would have actually moved down one. So yeah, I don't know if Florida are going to move up this my rankings much, unless they start to really turn it around because they're playing average 500 hockey week in week out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's why
Like
that's why they're sitting around the benchmark, but not really moving anywhere else. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Alrighty. My 19. Moving on down. Vegas Golden Knights. Yeah, man. I went
Oh,
big.
look,
I'm sick of all your crap, boys. I would destroy you all.
I'm I I rate that. I really do rate that
Hmm.
because I didn't like having them in 13 where I've got them
Yeah.
right now.
I
I
will
hated it.
justify saying like 20s plus to like almost top 10 is very close.
Yeah,
Like it's not
I said
it's not a
I
million
said
miles
to you
away.
before we went live. Yeah, I said to you before we went live, like started this stream, like I'm happy with my probably, top 10 or top 8 or whatever. I'm happy with like my 20 below or whatever, but there's like this gap where I'm just like I don't rate any of you right now,
Yeah.
but
All right.
a handful of you have to be there.
So their week 5-1 loss against Utah. We can see where Utah is on our power rankings. Um, Shootout loss against Ottawa. 4-1 loss against Montreal, and then 4-3 win against San Jose. I think they should be really winning all those. Um, that
Hmm.
like as the team that they have, and they haven't. It's just been I feel like below 500 team in a sense for a while. I know that points percent is
Hmm.
600, but they're 4-2-4. It's coming from OT shootout losses. Um, yeah, they got two shootout losses. Haven't won one, and it's just they get those extra points like some of these other teams like a what's their name, Philadelphia, where it's just OT points
Mm.
continuously. So
Yeah.
they're in the echelons of like a LA Philly for me, where it's kind of a lot of points coming from OT, and it's just if they're getting the extra, like if they got the extras of those eight, then all of a sudden they're in the top 10. So it's a funny thing
Yeah.
this season.
Yeah. And also if they don't take them to overtime, they're much worse down the standings
Yeah,
as well. So it's
yeah.
like it's just one
You
of
get
those
benefited
things
for
that
getting a draw in a sense, but yeah,
mm,
it's a funny one.
yeah. Yeah, it is. But it's every team just about this season. Like usually there's one or two OT merchants. This season there's already what, four teams that are on seven overtime losses or something like that. It's just it's insane. They're on track for like 20 overtime losses. Like that's ridiculous. But all right, 18 for me. I have the Pittsburgh Penguins.
All right, starting my top 16, Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
didn't like
look,
them here, but it kind of just ended up here.
yeah. Yeah, look, I'm not gonna lie, that is pretty much how I will sum a lot of those teams in my top 16. Don't know how it happened, but it happened. Look, 4-2 win against the Buffalo Sabres, but again, it's the Sabres, not much there. 4-3 OT win against Columbus, and a 2-7 demolition against the Leafs. And I put a lot on that Leafs loss because the Leafs although they've got a couple of like their personnel back, they haven't been a team that you should be losing 7-2 against, and especially at home. So I didn't like that. And again, hesitantly, they moved up one pretty much because of other teams just being so bad lately. So yeah, the Pens worry me again. Like they're starting to head more into that Gavin McKenna race performances. I think they're still going like all right, but if they keep on this trend, they might find themselves sellers at the deadline,
Yeah.
and where we thought they would be.
All right, my 15, Seattle Kraken.
Eee,
I've got a
they are
bit.
my 16.
Hey, I didn't think you might not go as harsh as me, but you have. Um,
Yep.
yeah, they've just been on a slide. Don't win a game this week. Lose to the Islanders in shootout. Dallas and Oilers in regulation. Oilers game, not even putting up a goal. They get shut out.
Hmm.
And it's just that's their issue is they can't score. They have the
Yep.
lowest goals scored for the league. Granted, their defense is one of the best with only a small amount of goals conceded. But they are 4-4-2 in their last 10. They've just been trending in the wrong direction probably for the last couple of weeks, and
Yep.
they need to find offense. They need to find a goal scorer.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's funny, right? Like if it wasn't for their defense, they would probably be right down the bottom. But also, if they just got a little bit of offense, they could probably be in the top five. Um, they just need something. So I don't know if they go out and try and get a goal scorer, get someone into that lineup to help bolster that attack. Um, because they're thereabouts. They're getting good goaltending this season, which was the problem they had last season. They had good defense, but their goaltending was trash. They're getting the goaltending this season. The defense is good, but they just can't put the puck in the net. Like they fix one problem, and then their offense goes. So yeah, hopefully they can turn it around and put some pucks in the back of the net. Just outside my top 16, Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah, 14.
Yeah, look, I just they could have been like as high as 12th at the moment with my like lineup, to be honest with you. Um, but yeah, I kept them where they were. I want to see more from them, and they had a good week. They won two of three. Um, But my concern is that they're just not getting shots off. They win 4-3 against Utah, 4-1 against Vegas, and then they lose 2-7 against Colorado. But like it's Colorado, like I don't rate that too much. But the issues I had in those two wins is they had 17 and 19 shots.
Mm.
Like that's not a like, we've said it many times, that's not a recipe for success. Even though if you actually look through this week's games, there are so many teams that had like 14 shots, 15 shots and won the game. So I don't know what that's about, but again, like that's not a recipe for success. um so like you just they need to get more shots on net.
Yeah. Alrighty, 13 for me. Ottawa, another Canadian.
Yeah, yeah, they're my 14.
Yeah, and it was kind of similar to Montreal in a sense, where my feelings on them. That's why they're kind of in the same area, where it's just
Yeah,
been, it's good, it's bad, it's all right. But look, they go 1-2 this week, lose to LA, shootout win against Vegas, and then they lose to St. Louis. So really, it's the St. Louis that hampers them from moving on up because I think they've been playing well recently.
yeah,
Like they're 6-3-1 in the last 10. But yeah, they just always trying to find another way to just take a step back.
yeah.
And that was that St. Louis game for me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I don't want to say it, but like all these teams are just mid at the moment. Like it's the best way to
Yeah,
like describe them.
yeah, you're not wrong.
I don't think any of these teams are good right now. Um, which is crazy because we're up to the 12th team. Like how is like these teams should be performing. They should be playoff teams at the moment. And I have them all as wild card teams, to be honest. All right, 12 for me. I have the Washington Capitals
I went
lighting it
higher.
up
I
again.
went higher. I put him in my 10.
Oh,
I did it.
Jesus
I went
Christ.
big.
He did it. He did it. Look, yeah, I mean, we were pretty set, like, surely the Washington Capitals will find their old form. Surely the form that they were in those past few weeks would eventually flip and they would start turning it on. And they have. They've found it again, which is good to see. 5-1 win against Columbus, 4-3 win against the Winnipeg Jets, a 4-2 win against Toronto Maple Leafs, and they go 3-0 on the week. But they're playing well at the moment. I think they're
Yeah.
7-3-1 in the last
It almost
10.
feels like they're back. That's why I've gone big
Mm,
on them. It's what I was missing from them last week. Is like I need to feel like
mhm.
you're completely back, and I do feel like they
Yeah,
are to a degree to the Washington Capitals that we knew of last year. So
yeah, yeah.
and
They're
Logan
in good
Thompson, I
form.
feel like's been playing like making some huge saves. he's
Mm.
been he's
Back
been
to what he was doing last season.
yeah. So anyway, on to 12 for me. I have the Islanders.
Ooh, I think they are my 9. Yeah, they're my 9.
Ooh.
I was higher on them last week than you were.
Oh, they're already in your top 10. Oh.
Yeah, they were
Um.
8th last week.
So yeah, shootout win against the Kraken. Lose to Boston. Shootout loss against Philly. Um. Yeah, not a bad week. Not the greatest of weeks. Obviously, you're getting 500 points, but it's coming off of OTs, shootouts, scenarios.
Hmm.
They 6-3 1 in the last 10. My issue is like, 9 regulation wins, 13 wins overall. They are 1-3 in the shootout, so they could have had more if they won more shootouts. Um, it,
Mm.
it's it's an interesting season, like how, but they're always competitive, and that's why I rate them.
Yeah.
That's what I just don't have them in my 10 yet because I don't think they're like strong enough for a 10 in my top 10.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard because like I kind of agree with you, but I also don't think there's 10 strong teams in the NHL this year, to be honest, at the moment.
Like
I think
consistently
Washington
strong, yeah.
will be consistent. Yeah, exactly. Because you even look at this week, you said they go 500. Great comeback against the Flyers, but that Boston game, they outshot them 44-14. Like there's not much more you can do at this point. Like you've thrown the kitchen sink at them trying to get the winner. It's just not your night. So yeah, I didn't sort of put anything against them. I think they still played quite well this week. Although Kyle Palmieri going down for the season is gonna hurt. But all right, let's move on to 11. And I'm interested to see if we've got the same 11 here. LA Kings.
Yes, same 11.
Yeah, we do. I didn't think you'd have him in your 10. I knew you would. I knew you would jump back from your position last week,
I still
but
stand by it in a
um,
degree, but it was the same logic that I had against Philly as well. And I was like, well, after it, I was like, well, if I'm doing this with Philly, it's kind of the same because they both have 7 regulation wins, Philly and LA, but
mhm.
Philly 14, LA 12 in actual full wins. It's a lot of these wins are coming from OT.
How wild is that? That 7 regulation wins is technically like there are a bunch of teams on 6, and that's the lowest, and they're on 7. So they
Yeah,
are 1 win higher than the lowest regulation win team. Like
yeah.
it shows you the
They,
overtime
they they have
impact this season.
5 shootout losses and 1 win. It
Mhm.
means they can't get it done on the ice. They have to
Yeah,
go to shootout and then just flip a coin.
yeah.
And
But
obviously
yeah,
that
like
coin is against them in odds.
exactly, and like you lose in shootout 5 times. It doesn't actually show that you're a bad team,
Yeah,
because you're not actually getting beaten. Like you're not getting beaten on the ice. You're not. You just it's luck with shootout. Like do you have the better skillful players in shootout? Yeah, they're nothing
no.
points really those.
I will say they are probably the most consistent team of this season.
Mm,
It's where I didn't um take into account alongside Philly. I think those two are the most consistent in regards to how they play.
yeah. But yeah, I'll touch on a couple of things with Philly as well when we get to them. But yeah, it's interesting those two teams and the way they're playing this season.
Well,
All
I,
right.
I guess I'll let you talk about it. So Philly, number 9.
They are my shoot. Are they my 8? Yeah, they're my 8. I just had to check that, but yeah. So talking about Philly, yeah. Look, I think what you said, the consistency. I don't think they're dangerous in terms
Yeah.
of if you play them right. I think they're beatable, but they're very well structured and they play well defensively, which keeps them in games. And then what they do, which we've seen today, they did against the Devils, is they don't necessarily outplay teams, but they just hold. Oh, they've made a mistake, and they pounce and they hit you.
It's kind of like
And
counter-attacking hockey. It's
yeah,
almost reminds me
yeah,
of like I know this is soccer, but like Leicester when they won the cup.
mm,
This nobody team, but they just had this full counter-attacking system. Play structured
mm,
the whole game. Then with one attack, boom, go, and then you score. That's what
yep,
I feel
and
like with Philly.
yeah, and that is it. It is exactly what it is. And then what they do is once they've got that lead, they hold. They can hold.
Mhm.
Obviously, they gave up the lead against the Islanders the other night, but they still won it in shootout. But like, it's just something that they're very good at doing. Is they can just wait for their moment and then hit. They can get outplayed for periods. They can be the better team for 10 minutes, and they can still beat you 4-1 because they play so structured and so well defensively, and then they just know when to strike. They know when to go. Um, is that going to hold up in playoffs? Like, if they make playoffs, is it going to hold up against teams, the top teams? I don't know, but it's holding up at the moment and it's got him in a playoff spot. So, keep on doing what you're doing.
Mm. Alrighty, you're 10.
All right. My 10 and my mouse has just decided to go, but it's all right, it's back. 10 is the Boston Bruins.
Oh, yeah, 8.
For you. Yeah, I moved down them a little bit. I was hesitant moving them up so high in the past couple of weeks because I wasn't sure. I feel like they're a real Jekyll and Hyde team. And they lose 1-3 to the Sharks, which, that's a game that you're expecting them to win. They beat the Islanders 3-1, but 14 shots to 44. It's a game that they probably just didn't deserve to win. They then lose 2-6 to the Rangers, and then they win 3-2 in shootout against the Detroit Red Wings, again with a really low shot total. So they go 500 on the week, but jury's still out on them. I'm not quite sure if they're as strong as what they look on those win streaks they put together.
Yeah. Well, they had the worst shot differential for the week, and it kind of shows. That's why I moved down on them slightly. I still think they've got it. That's why they're in the 10, but they're
Yeah,
definitely on a slide for me mentally. And
yeah.
watching them in game, it's not as good as when they were on that big run. So yeah, I do expect them probably to slide a little bit more if they continue.
Hmm.
7 for me. I have the Wild.
Ooh. Yeah, I went higher on those guys. I just can't remember where. 6 for me.
Oh wow, so much higher. All right. So yeah, they 3-0 the Jets. They OT win against the Hawks. Then they shootout win against Colorado and shootout loss against Sabres. And that was my a little bit gripe of going any higher than them is the 3 out of those games all go to OT shootout.
Yeah.
So they're drawing. Um,
Hmm.
2 of those draws against Buffalo, Chicago, which was a bit but 2 big
They should win
wins.
those. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's good they get the extra point against Colorado. They look like the first team to maybe take him to regulation for a long time, and win it in
Hmm.
regulation, but they did not. And I don't know how much to weigh on the Jets win because Jets have been, as we've seen in our power rankings, a bit on a slide as well. So, I, ob-
Absolutely shocking. Yeah.
obviously they're still one of the hottest teams. They're 8-0-2 in the last 10, fifth in the standings. Everything's positive compared to where they were when they started the first 2 weeks of the season. So
Hmm.
I just want to point out though, but like regulation wins 8, but they have 14,
Mm.
and that's what I mean by the OTs.
Yeah.
This kind of same situation with Philly, LA.
Yeah, you're 100% right. But like, look, from where they were and how they were looking to start the season, it's a lot better.
Mm.
And you've got to be happy if you're a Wild fan at the moment. Um, all right, 7 for me, and it was a hesitant 7. The New Jersey Devils.
Yeah, 6.
This team, I'm not convinced that they are a contending team, a good enough team to contend. And what I mean by that is they just make so many rookie mistakes, and they don't really get beaten by the opposition, they get beaten by themselves. Um, we obviously spoke about the Flyers earlier, and their game today, where they outplayed the Flyers for a large chunk of the game, but they just Flyers capitalized on every mistake they made, and they just kept making rookie mistakes. And they do that regularly in their games. They make stupid mistakes that end up in the back of their net. But they went 3 from 4 this week, and they beat Detroit 4-3.
Mm.
Um, got heavily outshot, probably outplayed. They beat the St. Louis Blues 3-2 in overtime. Um, that it's a team that they shouldn't be going to overtime against. A 5-0 win against Buffalo Sabres, as we said, that scoreline probably flattered the Devils a little bit. And then a 3-5 loss against Philly. So all in all, it's a good week, and so you kind of have to move up on them. But I am concerned that they
No,
just
look, they
don't
don't look
have it.
they don't look good. Um,
No,
and I really didn't want to move them as high as I did, but it just, the results were the results. They don't look
yeah,
great. Look, they also don't have reffing with them like some other teams. The fact you can get a high stick, be bleeding, and the refs have a meeting and they go, "Nah, no penalty." Um,
yeah,
it is, yeah, that's a whole topic for reffing. Um,
yeah.
but like the Minnesota Wild we've talked about has been one of the most favored in regards to refereeing calls this season. Um, but yeah, they just don't look great. Like you said, rookie mistakes. Hamilton starts looking like Bouchard in the sense of, very lazy, straight-legged.
He's got concrete in his boots. Like he
He
just,
has been
yeah,
watching Bouchard and like, wow, I can earn 1 million more if I play like that.
yeah,
So yeah, it's interesting. I don't rate him at the moment. I do think they will be a top 10 team. Um,
hmm
and yeah, they seem to get the results even when they shouldn't, which is
yeah,
a sign of a strong team.
yeah. And they do have injuries, so I do expect them to get better, but
Yeah.
I don't have
Well,
them
if they
as a
stop doing
full
like blood
contender.
rituals, cutting your hand or something like that, then yeah, that's probably how they're going to keep winning. Is Jack Hughes going to sit on the sidelines doing blood rituals? Alrighty.
Uh,
Number 5 for me. This is not a strong number 5. Anaheim.
yeah, same here.
It's kind of like the New Jersey situation. I'm just not sold, convinced on this position. Only 2 games this week. 4-5 loss against Vancouver. Then go to shootout and get the extra point against LA. So all in all, 2 points out of 4, not bad. Should have probably had 4, um,
hmm
and or at least 3 if you're not going to win the extra point in OT shootout. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like their play is looking good still, but I don't know. There's something about them that's making me fall just a little bit on them mentally compared to the
you just
top 5.
you feel like they're on that young team slide where they've been performing really really well, but we're about to see that Montreal Canadiens, that Chicago Blackhawks, that sort of Ottawa Senators
Yeah, the
just
Columbus.
slide.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that slide where it's like, yeah, we've been good because we have talent, but here's and the sign of whether these guys are ready to be a playoff team is going to be how they react to this. Are they going to react positive and be able to flip it and switch out of it, or are they going to let it eat into their locker room and see them continue to slide back and go on a big losing streak of sorts?
yeah.
All right, number 4 for me, Carolina Hurricanes.
Yep.
Hmm. Got a feeling we might have the same top 5 here. Just or maybe we
Possibility.
might
Yeah.
have a different number 1. I don't know. Colorado weren't that
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
good. They lost this week. Jeez.
They went to
Um,
they went to OT shootout. What do you mean? Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, the Carolina Hurricanes. They haven't really done anything wrong. They just didn't have that strong of a week. They lost to Buffalo. Oh, sorry, I should take that back. They did do something wrong. They lost to Buffalo. You can't lose 4-1 to Buffalo. Come on. They lose 4-2 to the Rangers, even though they heavily outshot them and outplayed them. Then they beat the Jets 5-1, absolutely destroyed the Jets. But yeah, like you can't be losing to the Buffalo Sabres, so I felt like they had to sort
Mm.
of be dropped. But
Nah,
yeah, the
still a really
Canes are the
strong team
Canes.
though. I don't expect them to move much further down.
Yeah.
Alrighty, Dallas Stars at number 3. For me, do not move. Dun 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 dun.
And
And
that's where I have them as well.
oh wow. So yeah, they're 8-1-1 in the last 10. You know, 0.72 save percentage, plus 17 goal differential. Everything seems to be going well. They get their games go a little bit closer than others. I feel like, as I'm about to say,
Yep.
they destroyed Edmonton 8-3. So take what I just said with a grain of salt. Um,
Yep.
then on a back-to-back, 3-2 against Kraken, they win that, and then 4-3 win against Utah. That's what I mean. It just feels
Mhm.
like they always win by like small margins.
Yep.
Even though they're playing really well. Obviously, the Oilers' destruction was maybe franchise changing for them in regards to the Oilers.
Yep.
But yeah, this what do you say? A top 3 team, looking really good. It's kind of where you would hoping for them to be at the start of the year,
Yep.
because they've always been like 5 to 10 the last few seasons. But they're actually staying consistent, which is good to
Mhm.
see.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're a Dallas fan, there's a lot to like about it. And Rantanen's sort of been out for a couple of games as well with suspension, so
Oh well,
you got to
some
enjoy
of the
it.
hits he's been throwing, yeah,
Mhm. Well, I mean, they beat the Oilers 8-3 without Rantanen, so
yeah.
that's that's saying something. All right, number 2 is the lowly Colorado Nah, it's Tampa Bay Lightning. I couldn't do that to Colorado.
Yeah, the lowly Tampa. The lowly Tampa. How the
No, the
hell are they
lowly.
number 2, man? You've got 2 cups. Go rebuild. Go retool.
I I I I know, right? Like, how are Tampa here?
Like the
They
fact
have
they're here
duped
and
us.
Toronto's down the bottom. Like they're the one going to
They
rebuild, retool first. It's funny.
they have duped us again, man.
Mm.
Because I was genuinely like, oh my god, it's finally the season that Tampa are gonna suck, and now they're
Yeah.
and now they're
I
just
never thought they
they're
would
one of the
fully
best teams.
suck because some of the names, like Points and Kucherov, are just amazing. Hedman's always
Yeah,
solid. Vasilevsky, like you can take out all those big names they've lost over the years, and they've still got such a roster.
yeah, 100%. And that's the thing. They're gonna have that roster that's gonna have them around the wild card zone for so long. But like, come on, I didn't expect them to be one of the best teams in the league. I mean, didn't expect it last season either. So,
Mm.
shows what we know at the moment. Like Tampa Bay are just gonna Tampa
Yeah.
Bay.
And
Um,
they won all 4 games, not one of them going to
mhm,
regulation. That's why I'm so high on them. Like 3-0 win against Philly, 5-1 Calgary, 6-3 Detroit, and then
mhm.
4-1 New York Rangers. Like all multi-goal wins. Granted, some have empty nets, obviously, but
18 to 5 goals scored
it,
as well.
and you would think like, oh wow, they must have outshot them crazily. Not really.
Yeah.
Um, I'm sure they outshot Rangers quite heavily, but no, they just get it done. It's a crazy team.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I don't know what to say for them. Wait for the
No,
rebuild retool, but I guess you're gonna have to wait till Point Coochie, Vasilevsky leave.
it's just never going to come. Like
Mm,
we're going to be doing this in 10 years' time, talking about how Tampa Bay should be on the rebuild and somehow aren't.
pretty much. All right, number 1, no surprise, Colorado Avalanche.
Yeah.
Yes, still one regulation loss. It's just tick along plus 48 goal differential. 9-0-1 in the last 10.
So great.
It's
It's crazy.
I do worry that they've peaked way too early. Um,
Yeah.
because normally
Yeah.
things do change after Christmas break, and then obviously there's Olympics coming up, and then
Yeah.
you've got trade deadline. So yeah, I'm interested to see if they have peaked too early. I wasn't sold on their depth core, forward core
Mhm.
at the start of the season. I guess I can eat my own words, but yeah, in regards to the week, 1-0 win against Chicago, destroy 6-0 San Jose. Shootout loss against the Wild, almost lost in regulation, but it's the Avs, so they were not. And then on the back to back, they, 7-2 Montreal. Um, yeah, they just keep beating the opponents they should be beating and
Mhm.
substantially. 6-0s, 7-2s. One of the toughest opponent they come up against, and they take it to shootout. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's hard to point out a flaw with them at the moment. To, like really criticize.
Do you know what this team reminds me of? The 2012-13 lockout season Chicago Blackhawks. The domination that that team did, and everyone was like, can they sustain it? Can they sustain it? And then they obviously did, and they won the cup. The problem I see with the Avs, I think if this was a 48 reduced season, so if it was 48 games, I reckon give it to the Avs. The Avs win the cup right now. Like they will race this home. The issue I see with it is, like you said, have they peaked too early? Is this gonna go, is it gonna go south by the time the playoffs? Because right now, the hockey doesn't matter. Like it doesn't like if yeah, they're having a great season. They've won regulation loss. They're 18-1-6 or whatever. But it doesn't matter. Like they can be 18-1-6 now and get bounced in the first round.
Mm,
Like it just does. Hockey right now, yes, of course, you've got to win the games, you've got to get yourself in the playoffs, all the rest of it. But this record's great. But again, it does not matter. You need to sustain it all the way to the playoffs. So yeah, that is my concern. I do agree with you on that. Is they look dangerous, they look unreal, but can they keep this up for the
I
82
I will
games?
I do want to say though, I think they have one of the best locker room chemistries in the league.
Hmm.
I think
Yeah.
McKinnon's great. Um, all the guys are great, but I don't know if this like a Landeskog, like getting him back in the locker room type thing as well, because now they look like
Hmm.
it. I just think if you're like going to a team for a locker room, like for brothers in arms,
Hmm.
I think Avs is where
It's
you want to go. It's why Rantanen was a bit, that they got rid of him. Those were his boys, and
hmm
I feel like that's what you see. You see boys playing with their bros. Whereas other teams seem a little bit disconnected. It's just been put together.
yeah.
And that goes to McKinnon, Landeskog, and all that leadership team of just building that.
Yeah. Building a tight knit group, plays for each other, plays
And
hard
those
for
are the
each
teams
other.
that go successful. We saw that with, you know, old Boston's, obviously
Hmm.
Pittsburgh when they went back to back, so on. It's the hallmark of a cup team. Obviously, they've already
Yeah.
won a cup. But yeah.
Yeah. No. What more can you say about him?
Yeah, well, are they your favourites now for the cup?
They have to be.
If it was to play
If
right
they
now,
weren't,
obviously yes.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, hundred
I,
percent.
th- I think
I
it
don't
was
think
it
it's
was
even
Avs and
close.
Vegas for me at the start of the season, and one's in the top 10 and one is not. So yep.
Yeah,
Well,
definitely the Avs.
all right, we'll leave it there. Thanks for checking out, guys. Let us know what you think of our power rankings, and yeah, who do you agree with, disagree with? Nick on mine, and yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. But till next time, we'll catch you guys.
I guess.